Hey, welcome back to Speaking from the Heart with Michael Ward. So very excited as always that you have come back and the interactions and everything that we have as I speak from the heart and I share my life with you all. I definitely appreciate the patience and getting new videos and new content, everything out to you all. There were a couple of things that happened in my life as I'm still experiencing them in the midst of them, and I recorded some videos and some of the rawest that I've ever felt, some of the rawest that I've ever been, and still working on sharing those with you all and being that vulnerable. But just know that I am all right. And it's a day by day, moment by moment situation that I'm in. But I'm so very excited to be able to continue doing this because I absolutely love doing it and speaking from the heart, sharing my experiences with you all. So I wanted to talk about my experience with getting my first dose of the monkeypox vaccine. I know at the time I'm actually recording this video, I believe there are 158 cases reported in the Atlanta area, mainly among men who have sex with men. However, it's not a gay disease, and I've had to have these conversations with my community and my family, my friends as well, with telling them why I decided to get the monkeypox vaccine, and kind of my logic and my thinking behind it. And so I wanted to share that experience with you all of making the decision, actually getting vaccinated, how I feel afterward, some of the barriers and things that I've experienced, and as well what I'm looking forward to in the future as we hopefully are able to manage and control and build equity as far as getting vaccines to the community and those who most need it. So I will just preface this by saying that I am not a medical professional. So as always, please consult your medical professionals and your doctors, your care team for whatever decision may be right for you. Why did I make the decision to get vaccinated? So as a person living with HIV and sleeping with men, I wanted to go ahead and get the vaccine because all of the facts and information I had at the time that was being presented to me let me know that in the Atlanta area, this was something that was directly affecting my community. And I shouldn't even make it specific to the Atlanta area because I think now with so much of the stigma and the news and things that have gone out as far as this is a gay disease or really stigmatizing language when it comes to the monkeypox vaccine, I just wanted to do what was best for me in my individual situation. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. So even in having those conversations with my care team and my community about what would be best for me in the interest of my health, I made that decision as well with them. As you can see, my tongue is blue. I don't know if y'all can see it from a Jolly Rancher earlier, but me being a person living with HIV and having a compromised immune system, I know what is going to be best for me in consulting with my doctor. So making that decision for me was a no-brainer at this point. Going into the appointment process. Now that was a whole animal. That was a whole beast of actually trying to get an appointment here in Fulton County Board of Health. So the first time that I heard about monkeypox vaccine was while I was out of the country in Aruba. And that was the most scariest thing to me because I'm saying, oh my God, I am out of the country. This is available to me, but I'm not going to be able to make that first vaccination clinic. And trying to stay up on the information and find out when I can get an appointment. And knowing that these slots were filling even before I could blink was one of the most scariest things that I didn't even anticipate would happen, but it was just one of those like, oh my God, what if anything should happen to me and now I've got to take extra precautions while I'm out of the country? So what I did in my own individual experience and may be helpful to you is I did follow the Fulton County Board of Health Twitter page, as well as set notifications to inform me when they tweeted. And the opportunity came up with Fulton County Board of Health that they were going to be posting appointments at 6 p.m. So I did all of that and I was on there at 5:58 refreshing like I didn't have no sense. So I was on there literally right at 6, entering my information in, typing everything, answering the screening questions. Yes, I'm a man who sleeps with men. Yes, I've had sex with 2 or more people within the last 14 days. And then I was able to select from 2 dates and select my time. Luckily, I was able to get in that first minute because by like 6:05, 6:06, I want to say all the appointments were filled. And it was even crazy to me to think that so many people wanted this vaccine, were probably on at the time, and by 5-6 minutes in, this was gone. So even in that number, I consider myself to be privileged. I hate using the word lucky, but I was able to log in right on time, getting that appointment, and it just was like sweating bullets. It was one of the times, like, being at the right place at the right time again, of like, everybody leave me alone. Do not disturb. I need to get this in. So made the appointment, got it, luckily for the next day. And so even at that point, I had to consider, like, what do I do about my job? What do I consider about work? And I made the decision that, hey, this is something that is really worthwhile for my health. And thankfully, I have a job that is understanding of that. But that's also something that I consider myself to be privileged and able to do. Some people didn't have that ability to do that, so I consider myself privileged in that way. But getting to the appointment was relatively easy. Again, another barrier is that I have access to transportation, reliable transportation. I was able to hop in my car and go 15 minutes up the road to the vaccination site. May not always be so simple for people who may have trouble accessing reliable transportation, or even with getting there in public transportation, of trying to use, here in Atlanta, we've got MARTA as a public transportation system, but trying to get to the vaccination site may be a barrier as well for some people. But once I was able to get in, I did an intake form. They asked me for identification, my insurance card, presented all of that to them. But again, it kind of was in the back of my mind, what if you're uninsured and you're not able to present this information? At this point, I don't think lack of insurance is impeding your ability to be vaccinated. As well, it was relatively easy, simple. I was in a waiting room maybe with about 10 to 15 other men. Luckily, there were a lot of Black faces, a lot of faces that looked like me. So even when it comes to the Black community of being able to access the vaccine, I know that there were a lot of people in other cities and other vaccination sites saying that they saw mainly white men, or who they presume to be white gay men, getting the vaccine. So it didn't necessarily tell me, as far as data-wise and statistics, that, this was anything that was increasing. I was able to get it as a Black gay man who sleeps with men. But that had me thinking in my mind, what are the statistics and what is the data and what is it showing about Atlanta, being that we're primarily one of the cities seen as a Black gay Mecca, and there are at least one or two faces that are in here that look like me and that need this vaccine. Are they able to get the vaccine? Do they have access to it? All of those things were going through my mind as I was sitting in this waiting room, like, oh, okay, another shot. The process from there was pretty easy. They took me to the back. I had a really, really, really great experience with the staff that was there asking me questions. Didn't experience any stigma, no sort of stigmatizing language. They just, are you here for the vaccine? Come back, we got you. And I did a little short, hey, verify who you are. They gave it to me in my left arm. I don't know if you can still kind of see where it's a little sore from the injection site, from what I got it, but it's pretty painless for me. The only thing that they did say is that I may have some soreness for a while after the injection, and even still, like, I can feel and here in my arm, which is why I keep rubbing it, where I received the injection. But for the most part, I had no other side effects. Nothing else kind of triggered me. No fever, no sweats, no chills, no fatigue. So I consider myself, again, to be privileged and lucky in that way. The only thing I have is a little arm soreness. I can take that. And so at the end of that, they did tell me that they were going to notify me in 28 days, I believe, by either mail, email, or phone, of when I can schedule my next dose. I haven't received that information as of yet. I don't have any up-to-date information on when they'll be able to get that to me to be able to schedule that second dose to tell you about that experience. But I wanted to be able to at least give this to you all now so you can kind of hear it from me of what my experience has been getting the shot. They did observe me, I would say maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, just to make sure that everything was right. They gave me my discharge papers. I was able to go back to work. Thankfully,